Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here. Guys, if you have friends who are like-minded, please ask them to follow the channel, Legally Armed America. Subscribe here, like, subscribe, share the videos, and obviously commenting down below is a big deal to me because I like to interact with a lot of the comment section, at least for the first day or two after the video has gone. And of course it cycles through and slows down a little bit. So the first day I'm pretty active in the comment section down below. So don't forget questions, whatever, down below. If you have something to share with me specifically or directly, always, you can email me at paul@legallyarmedamerica.com. Again, paul@legallyarmedamerica.com. All right, guys. When you were younger, got into trouble, let's say at school you got in trouble, right? Principal called your mom, told your mom what you had done at school, and let's just assume it was something pretty bad, like blowing up a toilet. Not like Taco Bell blowing it up. I mean like with fireworks blowing it up. School calls your mom. You don't talk to your mom. You go home and you wait for mom to get home. You hear the car pull up, you open the curtain, and you see her walking down the driveway, headed towards the front door to come in and deal with yo ass. You know that feeling? That's what all the corrupt politicians in Washington, D.C. are feeling right now with the whole Doge thing. Mama's coming down the driveway. First, guys, please go check out my friends CMMG. They make some of the finest implements out there. This is a group of people that I've known for a little while now. Great leadership, great employees, great workers. Obviously, the craftsmanship is incredible on the implements that they build. But these guys, again, walk the walk. They don't just talk the talk. They are severe and very strong Second Amendment supporters, and I really, really respect that about them. Was a big fan of CMMG before I ever did any work with CMMG. Use my code FTATF at the website CMMG. Again, use my code FTATF for 10% off when you go to CMMG. Speaking of corruption, let's talk about the pedophile that we had in the White House, Joe Biden. Remember Joe Biden did a whole lot of stuff trying to arm up the IRS to go after, well, I mean, at the time, we were considered the biggest terroristic threat in the United States, right? White, male, Christian, gun owner. That's me. I was considered the biggest threat in the United States under that jackass. Remember how badly he was trying to arm up the IRS? Remember that? This guy was not only trying to hire 87,000 new IRS people to go after people for a little bit of pocket change of $600 transactions to make sure that we need to claim our taxes on $600. But he was also arming them up. $10 million in 2020, $2.3 million of that on ammunition, $1.2 million on ballistic shields. I guess you need that when you're going to people's houses to bully them. $474,000 on Smith & Wesson rifles, $463,000 on Beretta 1301 tactical shotguns, and $240,000 on body armor vests. Now, what's ironic to me real quick about this, the federal government was spending all that money on Beretta 1301 shotguns, but this same administration and Biden administration were bullying gun owners so that they couldn't get imported Beretta 1301 shotguns themselves. So they're spending the tune of almost $500,000 on Beretta 1301s for them, but they dang sure don't want us to have them. They also spent $1.3 million on, quote, various other gear for criminal investigation agents. Remember how Elon Musk was saying the other day how a lot of fields, as far as the transactions of money goes, they were leaving blank. This is one of those things they leave blank. They spend money, and you usually know it's fraud. They spend money on something, but they don't characterize what it is. Well, you know that's a red flag because whenever they can identify what it is and they put something frivolous, whether it's going in somebody's pocket or an offshore account, then we know they're not going to classify that. So when somebody else comes back to audit that, nobody's around to answer questions as to why this field's blank. So that's why fields like this get put in quotes because we're not really sure what they bought. Now, at that time when they were making these purchases, the agency already owned 4,500 firearms, including 621 pump-action semi-automatic shotguns, 539 semi-automatic rifles, and 15 submachine guns. Now, look down at the very bottom. This was actually funny to me and ironic, not funny in a ha-ha kind of way. Funny in a make you mad kind of way. President Biden provided the agency with more than $80 billion in new funding as part of the $739 billion Inflation Reduction Act. So we need $80 billion additional dollars to reduce inflation. Please help that make sense to me. You need $80 million for the IRS. You're increasing their budget by $80 million in order to reduce spending, to reduce inflation. This one item alone is enough for you to know when they use words to name a bill, it is a lie. When you're asking for $80 million more and you're trying to reduce inflation, we know you are lying. Look at the $2.3 million on duty ammunition. That's something right there that really perplexes me, because these people, remember, we're talking about the IRS. We're not talking about the gay guys in the ATF. We're not talking about the FBI. We're talking about tax collectors, auditors who are auditing people's tax records, needing $2.3 million worth of duty ammunition. In total, from 2006 to 2023, they had accrued up to a little bit over $35 million worth of guns, ammunition, and military-style equipment. That, of course, again, was ballistic-style helmets, plate carriers and plates, optics, night vision, all that kind of stuff. Just a quick note here, they weren't the only organization that you would think did not need access to firearms, right? Of course, they're saying that they were put in dangerous situations, having to go collect money from, they call them gang members and people like that. Again, I think they're talking about me and you. Another organization that you would kind of scratch your head and go, well, wait a minute, why are you arming these people? And why are you arming them? Because they're actually going to be working in conjunction or against, if they're using firearms, the American people. The Department of Health and Human Services. That's right. Since 2020, HHS has purchased $400,000 worth of tactical combat gear, $250,000 worth of ammo, $100,000 worth of new guns, $47,000 worth of night vision for Health and Human Services, $100,000 worth of virtual reality simulation training. So I guess they're not buying training ammo because they're going to do that with a simulator. That seems real realistic and effective. $85,000 on ballistic plates and body armor, and they bought 240 new black chrome batons. I've seen what the old HHS secretary looked like. I wonder if those, quote, batons that they were using resemble this in any kind of way. Just saying. My point in revisiting this whole IRS being armed up topic is, with all of the work that Doge is doing and all of the work that other people, including the Doge guys, are doing to root out, find the corruption, and reverse some of these stupid, idiotic, and downright, some in many cases, unconstitutional things that the Joe Biden administration had done, or the quasi-Barack Obama administration, I should say. Maybe it's time that we disarm the IRS, and of course, Health and Human Services as well. I know we're not going to get the 87,000 new IRS people. That, I can assure you, that's going away. So I'm not as worried about that army of people being sent out to attack those of us who actually work for a living. But maybe by chance, we could do something about all this different stuff that the IRS has accrued. Maybe, since we've already paid for it, can we all agree we've already paid for all of this? Maybe we do giveaways. I mean, I'm being honest here. I mean, at first thought when I started putting the story together, I was like, maybe we can set up some kind of a system where they allocate all of these weapons, the ammunition, all the different types of gear, set up a new .gov website where we could buy it. And then I thought to myself, buy it? We already bought it. We've already paid for this. Why should the American people have to buy it? Why don't we create a lottery system to take back all of this stuff that the IRS and HHS don't need? Now, you saw a lot of the stuff that HHS needed for Health and Human Services was, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I'm going to have somebody knocking on my door. It was to protect Anthony Fauci. You know who in this room doesn't need paid for protection? I've done nothing where a whole army of people are looking for me. I've done nothing to have to look over my shoulder and wonder who's coming for me. That guy has. And if you'll remember, all of this money right here that they were allocating for arms and things like that for HHS, remember, Donald Trump a couple of weeks ago took away Fauci's security detail. So we're not paying out that money anymore. So again, I would really like to see some kind of a government lottery system. Maybe you qualify for it. I don't know. I mean, we're all taxpayers. To me, I say we're all taxpayers. We're all taxpayers. There's a lot of taxpayers out there. If you don't pay into the system, or if you have 19 kids and you get all that money back, you don't qualify. I think what they should do is create a lottery system for people who wake up in the morning, put work boots on, and go to work. Now, I'm saying that figuratively, obviously. If you know, in white collar field, not blue collar field, you qualify as well. Point is, if you are putting into the system, then you should be eligible for this lottery to receive ammunition, firearms, or whatever. And it's a matter of a draw. Maybe you do the draw online, or maybe you do it publicly. And I'm not joking here. What are they going to do with this? They don't need it. And do you want to make the American people happy? Again, these things have already been paid for. The IRS loses no money if they give this stuff away. We bought it. They didn't buy it. So they don't lose a dime. So this is something that I really would like. And I know we're all sitting back there laughing, going, this is a great idea. It'll never happen. Maybe it's something we ought to do to start the conversation, because this is our stuff. Now, in closing, I wanted to share something with you guys. I thought this was a little ironic. You've been hearing about the Google search terms that were being used in Washington, D.C. over the last month, right? Big time. Now, what they can do is they can geo-track or whatever. I don't know exactly, but geolocate where certain keywords are being searched using, depending on what the zip code is or what area those terms are being entered into the Google search database. So you'd been hearing about them talking about, oh, what was it, RICO, trying to find attorneys for the area, like a huge spike in people searching for local attorneys after all this Doge corruption is being uncovered, right? Well, one of the things that I found kind of funny was that, look at this chart right here. This is here recently. Look, January 22nd, 2025. A little bit after that, I would say. Probably it looks like that's around the 25th or so. These are some additional search terms that I thought were really ironic, especially now that we're seeing some of what the corruption is going to eventually point back to with a lot of these folks in Washington, D.C. The yellow line that you see over here to the far right, that's Swiss bank. That's people searching for the term Swiss bank just in Washington, D.C. You see the green line over there right next to the yellow one? That's offshore bank. People looking for Swiss bank and offshore bank. You want to know what the red one right there is? That's wire money, because they're trying to get rid of the money that they have in D.C. And the blue one that you see spiking in 3 different places, that stands for International Bank Account Number. It's a unique identifier for a bank account that's used to process international payments. This is all being searched for. You can see the history prior to that. All the way back to November of 2024, it was pretty much non-existent. Now look at the spikes that we're seeing. These people searching for a Swiss bank, offshore bank, wire money, an international bank account number. Mama's coming down the driveway, and she's pissed.
We have got to tell Elon Musk, nobody elected your ass.
What kind of American are you?
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.